We're going to walk out there now. There seems to be a 300-foot drop into the sea.
Death, storms and isolation await us in Anglesey.
It's dangerous.
Hello, I'm Yvette Fielding, and this week I've brought my team to Wales and to the infamous South Stack Lighthouse.
In the month of November 1809, the infamous South Stack Lighthouse was erected at a cost of just £12,500. On Tuesday, the 25th of November 1859, it is said that the most severe storm of the century occurred. It became known as the Royal Charger Gale, and on that and the following day, over 200 vessels were either driven ashore or totally wrecked, with the loss of 800 lives. On that evening, assistant keeper John "Jack" Jones had been making his way across the iron bridge onto South Stack. A rock swept from the cliff by the strong winds fell and struck James on the head. He died 3 weeks later of a compound fracture of the skull. His father, John Jones, died at South Stack in 1828, aged 53. His cause of death is unknown. South Stack has a troubled history where death plays a prominent role. Could these spirits of sailors, lighthouse keepers and their families be haunting this remote and unusual location?
Because this location is so unusual and has such a fantastic history, I decided to test the waters and see just how paranormally active it really is. So I asked Carl Beattie and Jeff Adams to spend the night alone and in the dark. And this is what happened.
Jeff and I have decided to go off on our own the night before. There's the lighthouse stairs.
Did you not just hear the footsteps?
No. So you heard footsteps?
It was almost like we've come in, so they've gone upstairs.
So we need to follow them, yeah? Well, should we go? If I go up now. Now, bear in mind we're on our own. Is there two of you? If there is, can you make a sound if there's two of you? How do you explain that? Oh, something just flew across in front of the screen then.
Can you come and touch my hand? Can you hold my hand?
Please come and touch Jeff's hand. Shit. Jack, are you here?
Oh.
What?
Stop.
What? Where from?
Up there. It was very gentle, so thank you for that.
Gentle? How can it be gentle from that?
No, but to it can't. It
Yeah.
wasn't dropped, you know.
The was that?
I think I really need to sort of just go downstairs. I'm shaking.
Come on, mate. Take it nice and easy. Take it nice and easy.
So, already stone throwing and very loud rapping. Jeff Adams, one of our cameramen, had certainly had enough. Would he and the rest of the team be able to brave it for the full 24-hour stay?
Not all the storms hit the outside of this isolated building. Some seem to manifest inside. Footsteps have been heard walking around this area, and workers frequently experience lights turning themselves on and off, and the main inner door behind me rattles loudly when no one is there. Could it be Jack Jones, who tragically received fatal injuries while trying to reach the lighthouse, attempting to finish his fatal journey to his place of sanctuary?
He wasn't killed outright, but he did still crawl up the path to get to the main building where we're in now. Unfortunately, with the strength of the wind and the noise, he was not heard by any of the residents in the building at the time, and it was only the next morning when the keeper, Henry Bowen, came outside, he actually found him lying on the pavement, but nothing could be done for him, and 3 weeks later he did actually die from his injuries.
There was a death here in 1828, which is shrouded in mystery. All we know for certain is that Jack's father, John, died on the premises. We don't know how or why. But since then, it's said that, like his son, he haunts the lighthouse, shutting doors and turning lights off. Could it be that as he was very fastidious in life and hated waste of any sort, he's continuing his rounds? Or is he trying to contact us and tell us how he died?
There is a story or two about the lighthouse. There's a lady that is seen in a building outside. I think she used to live there, and people see her spirit. And also, there's a lighthouse keeper who gets quite angry when the lights are left on here. I think the most haunted crew should definitely investigate the buildings outside where there used to be living quarters.
There have been many deaths in and around the lighthouse, from families who have lived and worked here to shipwreck victims and climbers. So it's no wonder that many of the souls are said to roam all over this place. One of our difficulties tonight will be separating the activity from the ghosts and who is doing what, and more importantly, why.
So here we all were, the most haunted crew in a very remote location. What would Dr. Kieran O'Keefe think?
My main focus is on the weather conditions. Certainly they could get worse this evening, and I think that's going to prey on people's minds. They're going to get very anxious, they're going to get very fearful.
There's a great deal of phenomena that occurs inside the lighthouse, but also the cottages as well.
We don't know what we will find in there. There hasn't been an investigative team here. With David turning up, he may be able to separate exactly what's going on. Are we seeing the ghosts associated with the deaths of the lighthouse, or even ghosts from the local shipwrecks?
This extraordinary location was a place that I and the rest of the team couldn't wait to get our teeth into. To help us uncover some of the supernatural mysteries at South Stack, David Wells, our medium, would try to communicate with the supposed ghostly inhabitants of the lighthouse. What would he uncover, and who would he communicate with?
In my head, it's like one of those horrible nightmares where you can't reach whatever it is, you can never get it. It's like blood running down his face, I can taste it in my mouth. In his head, all he would have wanted, I guess, is to get here.
Holy moly.
What is that? Jack?
It was like outside the... No. Holy...
South Stack Lighthouse in Wales is one of the most remote locations we've ever investigated. Stranded for 24 hours in a place that has seen its fair share of death and ghosts, would our medium David Wells find any souls that lived and worked here many years ago? And if so, would he be able to communicate with them?
This room feels like living space to me initially.